Hey, everybody. You are about to hear a brief retelling of the movie Influencer. Enjoy the movie. A strange girl invites a blogger to a mysterious island for a break from social media. The movie begins with a view of an emerald tropical island spread out in the middle of a vast ocean. However, instead of the horrible on the face but kind inside savages, there is an emotionless girl lying on sandy beach at the water's edge. The story switches to blogger Madison. The girl is on a serious rant about the sacramentality of traveling the world. By this she means only 5-star resorts in Thailand, making Fyodor Kanyukov burst into fits of laughter. She takes pictures and posts vidosiki, looking with envy at the posts of colleagues in the influencer craft education for the sake of education. Confirming the professional suitability, Madison makes a promotional photo with cream on the background of the hotel scenery. In the evening, a moderately fat British man in the prime of life, but does not understand the hints, rolls up to her at the bar. From the annoying society of a subject of the crown, Madison is saved by a neighbor at the Hotel CW suggesting a walk away. Walking on a narrow bridge over the water, Madison admits to her new friend that she could have flown in for a vacation with her boyfriend. But he backed out at the last minute, and she also tells the influencer's terrible secret. She doesn't actually absorb the mysterious Asian culture, but chills by the pool rubbing this crap in her subscribers. Then CW offers her a real adventure and takes her off into the dawn on a moped down a winding highway like a thread of fate. Before the sun is up, the girl climbs to the top of a mountain from the sight of the exotic side spread out before them. Admiring Madison's sense of beauty is denied. She immediately pings the post with a thorough message. How miserable you all are if you don't do as I do. The day continues with a further introduction to less touristy Thailand. Zoos, ordinary streets and pubs, simple eateries. Madison's smartphone just isn't fuming from the exertion, preserving photographic evidence of her exceptionalism. Ending the languorous evening, the girl snags some tourist guys to hang out for a short time. Back at the hotel, Madison finds the door to her room wide open. She cautiously sneaks inside, pretending not to hear the disturbing music playing behind the scenes. Inside, she notices that all of her belongings are covered and her ID has been stolen. CW helps her new friend with calling the police and getting the paperwork done. It takes time, specifically 2 weeks, to get a new passport from the embassy. The new friend suggests they pass that time together by immersing themselves headfirst into an exotic culture. Madison calls her boyfriend to break the unpleasant news. He, with infantile directness, accuses the girl of sabotaging the planned shooting. The quarrel escalates into a breakup and a rethinking of values. In tandem with CW, Madison rides on tourist routes exploiting poor Thais and does not forget to keep subscribers in the loop. The girls follow caves, scare bats, roost on the dock of a fishing village, and don't forget to take pics. As CW covenants, she races her moped through the city streets. The destination becomes her own house here in the neighborhood, but that's not the only surprise she has in store for her friend. Rising even before Zori, CW leads Madison to the dock, where her own boat is moored. On it, the girls get to a remote tropical island, uninhabited as decent islands should be. In between, Madison notices the notches on the log, but does not pay much attention to them. Building a fire in the evening, the girls tell scary stories. Mari-sun says that if she were the heroine of a horror movie, CW would probably nail her on this deserted island. Everyone responds with a more gruesome story. She would have just left her friend alone to die of starvation, dehydration, and hallucinations. Madison objects that her being a popular blogger would immediately be seized upon by subscribers and searched for what lies behind the counter-argument. Subscribers would care deeply if she disappeared. Anyone can run a useless blog. Taking it all as a hilarious mind game, Madison falls asleep peacefully. At dawn, CW grabs her belongings, carrying out the plan told the day before, and sails off the island, leaving her companion lying on the sand. The story moves forward 3 weeks. The CW, having stolen Madison's accounts, continues to run her blog using a wig and the magic of Photoshop. Having finished her contractual obligations with sponsors and raised some dough, the girl takes a vacation from social media. Madison's photo on the beach adorns a wall where there are already 4 other competitors. With a sense of accomplishment and significantly swollen to the level of HSV blogger's purse, CW wanders through the Thai streets and establishments, keeping an eye out for a new victim. The girl notices another connoisseur of Asian exoticism and spellbinding travel by the name of Jessica. Adrenaline hunting excitement kicks in, and here CW is already hanging on the tail of her future friend. Having driven the prey into the souvenir shop, CW goes on the offensive. A casual conversation ensues, but unsuccessfully Jessica does not fall for CW's charm. Having temporarily retreated, she continues to study the profile of her chosen victim in order to pick up the keys. Having tracked Jessica down in a bar, CW presses her vanity by pretending to be her subscriber. The plan succeeds. Jessica makes contact. CW lays out her Madison cover story, and in between tells her that she has a huge villa booked on the island, which is too uncomfortable to live in alone. During a photo shoot, CW snatches the new acquaintance's keycard to get into the room. Having pulled a trick with the theft of documents, she waits for a call from a friend in trouble to invite her to stay with her, but when they arrive at the villa, the girls are in for a surprise. A path of rose petals is arranged by Ryan, Madison's boyfriend, who essentially pays the rent. Due to the new circumstances, the CW has to make adjustments to the carefully orchestrated scheme. Using a voice synthesizer, she fakes a call from Madison, who defends CW and tries to chase Ryan away, but then insists on a face-to-face meeting. The three of them head to the coast. Taking pictures of Jessica, Rayner asks her about CW and tells her how Madison was robbed. Compounding such a curious coincidence, a CW legend. Jessica in turn wants to ask the guy about his relationship with his girlfriend. She also texts Madison tonight to set up a meeting, unaware that CW has stolen her account and has access to her correspondence. Jessica escapes from the bar to pack up and get away from the suspicious neighbor. CW chases her down and lets the cab driver go. In the course of the conversation, all the coincidences come up that suggest some very disturbing thoughts. When the logical arguments are over but no result can be achieved, CW resorts to one last argument. Good old-fashioned violence. She slams Jessica's head against the wall, then stabs her throat with a stiletto heel. She packs the body compactly into a suitcase and cleans up the traces of blood before Ryan returns. He's brought a bunch of guests to hang out by the pool, which naturally doesn't please the girl who lives here on a bird's license. She asks the guy to escort them out and receives a rude and cynical refusal. In frustration, CW takes a kitchen knife and slowly climbs the stairs. Her attention is distracted by the beeping of her smartphone. Ryan has tagged her in the photo of this fiasco, thinks CW, realizing that her incognito is exposed. The plan needs to be adjusted immediately. In the morning, she makes breakfast, mimicking Jessica's departure. With a plate of leftovers, Ryan logs onto social media where he sees a fresh post from Madison. Supposedly she's met a new love for life. The guy gets upset, not realizing it's an insidious CW and Photoshop conspiracy. Frustrated, he spends the day with CW, who carefully slips pills into his drinks, discussing matters of the heart and blogging. At night, CW drags a stressed-out Ryan home to sneak him into bed, undress him and fake intercourse, but most importantly she needs access to his phone and account to delete a post that mentions yourself. In the morning they wake up in the same bed and the guy makes sure he's lying naked and notices a retired security agent on the floor. Ryan's about to leave. After making sure he's gone, the girl burns Madison's things and the wig she used to impersonate her, covering her tracks. Last on the wagon is the girl's passport, which the cunning killer still hasn't gotten rid of. The story suddenly returns to the past, to the moment Ryan and Madison meet. After their first date, the guy takes a picture and convinces the girl to try to become an influencer. Indulging in these memories, Ryan visits a hotel in Thailand from where Madison's last post was launched. He inquires at the reception if his girlfriend has not stayed there. Having received a negative answer in upset feelings, the guy goes to the bar, where he meets an Englishman. He hardly remembers the episode of the dogs with the stolen license plate, as well as the two girls that left the next day and never came back, clarifying that one of them had a birthmark. Ryan continues to gather material. He shows a photo from the hotel from yesterday, but the weather clearly shows it was taken much earlier. Then Ryan calls Madison's friend to find out when he last spoke to her via video link and learns that she last spoke only by voice, just like he did on the phone. Suspecting anything, the guy revisits the friend's story, and a frame-by-frame review reveals a flaw in the editing of the superimposed picture, and a CW birthmark appears for a second. Tortured by vague doubts, he returns to the villa. Carefully examining the room, the guy finds a backpack, and in it Madison's diary, which CW for some reason was ashamed to burn. When she comes down the stairs, the guy delivers a preemptive blow to the head. After tying the girl up, the guy pours water on her to bring her to her senses. However, the shibari session is not needed for erotic triviality, but for interrogation. He admits that the intercourse, even when stoned, will not be forgotten. Ryan wonders where his girlfriend is now. He shows the diary as proof, but CW is unwilling to give up. As simple as an ad spot, she rightly assumes there's no direct evidence against her. Unlike the guy who tied up the woman. When Ryan threatens her with a knife, she honestly informs her that she didn't do anything to Madison and offers to take her to her place. In the night, they go to the dock where CW pushes the guy into the water. Diving in after him, she releases his hands from behind his back and strangles him with ropes. When he stops resisting, the girl swims to the surface. She loads the body into a boat and returns to the house to wash off the blood. Afterward, she writes Ryan's account of farewell post and enjoys the return messages. Digging through his things, CW as Bear finds a Trump ring. In the morning, she goes to the boat to take the body to the island, but she gets an unpleasant surprise on the beach with a still warm fire and a container to collect rainwater. Spotting them on the log has become a lot more. The number of days that have passed. Realizing that stands on the threshold of a grand sure, CW grabs from the boat shovels and like a soldier sets off into the tropical jungle. She cautiously circles the island in search of a survivor, but finds only 2 graves on top of a hill. Looking at the crosses, CW notices Madison sneaking up behind her and knocks her down with an apt blow from a club. Not wanting to repeat the mistakes of horror movie characters, the blogger approaches her lying opponent and delivers a controlling blow. Afterward, an exhausted Madison walks down the beach to the boat where her boyfriend's body is. CW comes to her senses at the sound of a running motor. She runs to the beach and sees the boat rushing off in the distance, leaving her on the island, just as it left its gullible victims. Realizing the irony of the situation, the girl laughs nervously as the strong-willed Madison steers the boat out to sea, to the inhabited islands on the horizon. That's where the movie ends.